Hi, fourth graders. It's Mr. Steinberg. Welcome back. Um, for today's tutorial, my goal is to show you the difference between dividing numbers, but using two different methods. The first one is what I call traditional division, which is the method that I was taught when I was your age, versus partial quotients, which is more it's more of a skill where we use place value as opposed to what I was taught growing up. So in fact, I'm going to start right here on this side actually. I'm going to start with partial quotients because I think it's going to take a few seconds longer to kind of set this one up. So I'm going to do my best. So you can see the problem here says 325 divided by 5. So I know my 5 is my divisor on the outside, and inside under my division sign is my dividend. And that's going to be 300, 20, and 5. So if you're going to use place value, it's very similar to when we learned how to multiply numbers and we found partial products. But this time we're going to find partial quotients, but at the same time we're going to use multiplication. So even though we're dividing, we're actually going to use multiplication to solve a division problem. So what you do is you rewrite this number under the division bar. This is your dividend under here. Your answer is a quotient. The number on the outside is a divisor, but this one underneath the dividend, what you do is you rewrite it in expanded form. So you ask yourself, what's 320 in expanded form? Well, that's going to be 300. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It should be 325. Oopsie. There we go. So let's write that in expanded form. We have 300 plus 20 plus 5. Okay, sorry about that. Where was I? Okay. So I took the number underneath the division sign and I wrote it in expanded form. And now what I have to do is I have to tell myself I'm going to take all three of these numbers. Oops, there we go. I'm going to divide all three of them. I'm going to divide all three of them by 5, but one at a time. So I have 300 divided by 5. I have 20 divided by 5. And then I have 5 divided by 5. And now it's just a matter of finding the relationship, right, between the two numbers, um, like 300 divided by 5. Well, I know my multiplication facts. I know that 5 times 6 is going to equal 30. So if that's the case, then 5 times 60 has to equal 300. So I know that 300 divided by 5 is going to be 60 because 5 times 60 is going to be 300. And the next one says 20 divided by 5. Well, I know that 5 times 4 equals 20. So if I have 20 divided by 5, that's going to equal 4. And finally, and the reason I know that is because 5 times 4 will lead me to 20. Finally, I have 5 divided by 5. Well, any number divided by itself automatically equals 1. 5 can only go into 5 one time. So now all we have to do is take these partial quotients, right? All of these partial quotients. Let me write that in there. Just like we did when we learned how to multiply with partial products. These are partial quotients. Add them up together. 4 and 1 is 5. 6 plus 0 is 6. So 325 divided by 5 should be 65. And the other way you could do that is you could write it on top of the division bar. You start with 300, right? That's in the hundreds place. What's 300 divided by 5? We know that 300 divided by 5 is 60. So you have, it's going to be 60. And then you have 20 divided by 5 because there's the 20 right there. 20 divided by 5. We know that 20 divided by 5 is 4. And then you have 5 divided by 5. And we know that 5 divided by 5 is 1. So you just add them together. 60 plus 4 plus 1. 64 and 1 is 65. So all of that is going to equal 65. So if we go over to the other side and we do it the way that a lot of you probably are going to learn this, which is fine, right? It doesn't matter which way you learn it because there's always more than one way to do something with math, especially with division. So it's okay. So you would set it up the same way. You would take your divisor, then you would put your number underneath the division bar, and then you go about and you're going to start using your multiplication facts. For this question, you're going to use the fives. So what you do is you start with the 3, the first one. Ask yourself 5 times what number equals 3, or what number times 5 gets me as close to 3 as possible. Well, unfortunately for this one, I can't divide the 5 into the 3 because the 3 is too small. 5 is bigger than 3. So now we have to come over and actually try to use the next place value, which is the tens. So we start there. What number can you multiply times 5 to get as close as possible to 32? Well, if you look at your multiplication facts, you know that 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. So you want to get as close as you can to 32 without going over 32. So we're going to use the 6. So you put the 6 right there, you multiply 5 times 6, and you're going to subtract that product. 32 take away 30 leaves you with 2. Now you have to kind of start the process all over again. You want to know 5 times what number gets you as close to 2 as possible. Well, unfortunately, 2 is smaller than 5. So we're going to go ask for some help. So you go to the next place value and you bring down the next number and the ones place value. And now you see here we have 5 times what number will give you 25. Well, if you remember your multiplication facts, 5 times 5 equals exactly 25. So you're going to use the 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and when you subtract, your remainder is 0. There's nothing left over. But what you can see, either way, whatever method you use, if you use the traditional method, right? If you use this traditional method right here, or if you use the partial quotients, like this one right there, whatever you decide to do, you're going to come to the same quotient or answer. So it doesn't matter what method you like to do. But if you're comfortable using place value, it's kind of fun breaking the numbers into expanded form. And this way you can do separate division problems or multiplication facts when these are broken up, because you can find the relationship between each number. Okay, so also what we wanted to show you was this. In the fourth grade message board area, we have some videos and tutorials. So what you'll do is you'll come here. You'll come here to the message boards, right? Let me show you the path. So you start here. You start with Schoolhouse California Connections Academy. You'll go to Elementary Teachers. Go to fourth grade. Course Resources for fourth grade. And you'll click on this one, Course Resources. And when you click on Math right there, this is going to open up. You're going to get this Google Drive. And then you click on this one down here, Math 4A and B Video Tutorials by Unit. Then when you click on that, this is going to open up. And you can see all of these video tutorials, starting with place value in Unit 2. Unit 3 is adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers. Unit 4 is multiplying by one-digit numbers. Unit 5 is multiplying by two-digit numbers. And finally, Unit 6, now you have division. And look at all of these videos, all of these tutorials we have here, and even the one that I'm making now, I'm going to put it down here also. So we're going to give you plenty of tutorials to look at as you're going through the unit. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, but also know that also down here you have a tutorial for the portfolio that's coming up near the end of this unit. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. But again, if you have any questions about how to divide using the traditional division method or even partial quotients, just let me know. I'll be glad to, or let your homeroom teacher know, and we'll be glad to help out. Thank you. Bye.